There we go. Hey, runners, how's it going? So, I haven't done a live stream on this song for a little bit. It's been 8 days, and I think, for comparison, I had done 3 of them in the first day. So, where are we at now? Well, a couple things. First, good news. I think we're pretty far along. We might be recording that foundation track tomorrow. So that's all pretty quick. I think that's one of the fun things about writing songs. Sometimes they go very quickly. Sometimes they take a while. And, sometimes, they happen somewhere in the middle, I suppose. That might not sound all that revelatory, but, if we think about it, in this series alone, the first song that we did a live stream was written in like about a week, and I want to say it was recorded maybe a week later at most, but that's the very quick variety for me. I don't have those I wrote a hit song in 10 minutes kind of stories. I think the bands that do either have a lot of help, they're just jamming and the producer goes, well, how about this, and brings back some mix of the things they've been doing and didn't know they were doing a song. Or, they are so in the zone, they've just been writing and in the studio and out on the road and in the tour bus. And there's so much writing and creative energy that, it just kind of comes out. And, I think a lot of times when people have those hit songs, they don't always know they're a hit song. Sometimes they do, or at least when they give interviews, they go, oh, I always knew. But I think oftentimes they don't know. It's just another thing that happens, and they're like, oh, you liked that one? Wow, I spent all this time on this other one. I thought that was the one you'd like, probably. So anyway, first song, I think about a week. Second song, It Comes and Goes. I think this is the third, and I think this is only the third song I've done since starting the live stream. Anyway, It Comes and Goes took about 30 days to be able to get to. And I felt maybe this is a big theme we're learning from the live stream. There's a point where I go, maybe this is nothing, or this is taking forever, we should toss it maybe. I don't know. I read somewhere, I forget who the musician was. Actually, it was Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys had said something about that you should finish whatever you start when it comes to music, because unfinished songs don't really help anybody. And I think that applies to all of art. So pretty cool. So where were we with this song? Okay, so this song, here we are, day 16, probably recording on the 17th. Bodes well, I like the 7. Okay, so we were at this part where we had this riff, and I think originally there was this drone thing, right? Okay, it was cool, but what I found was I couldn't really get out of that riff or that chord progression. And even when I tried using that G, F, C as a chorus, it just didn't feel like it went anywhere. It was very folksy a little bit. I wanted something that gave me something more to it. And I think at some point I started playing this bluesy version of it that I think might have been something like, I don't know. I think that was a second live stream for this song. It was probably a little bit more fleshed out as a bluesy thing, because that's what I thought it was going to be. Now, right after I did that one, I'd gone upstairs and I had set up my pedals with this nice tone that I was ready to record for, because I was sure that that was it and lyrics were right behind the corner. And the very next day, although I still think those tones might work, I haven't listened to them since. So when I go to record tomorrow, I'll plug it in, go, is that any good? And maybe I'll make adjustments. We'll find out. We'll find out together. But it was the next day that I came down and I started rehearsing a little bit more, trying to get lyrics. I was thinking, maybe they'll happen quickly. And it didn't feel like a bluesy song anymore. The more I played it, the more I started kind of going, this What the hell is this? I was trying to come up with lyrics on it. I don't know what it was. So I started settling onto the stancy bit where I was kind of going. Okay, I like that. So we had this whole thing going. That was kind of neat. So I started building off of that, and I had this chorus going. All right, that's a B flat to a C. Notice I'm still using the capo on 1, so when I'm transcribing stuff, it's always pretending this is 0, which gets a little weird. But anyway, real nice. I could not come up with some lyrics. So the last time we had a little live stream, we went ahead and started playing with it. I was doing this thing where I was going, another coffee and a cigarette, another trip form in triplicate. And then I started thinking about a chorus, and the chorus was after we went through this. So it was going to be something like, but another night with you, we like no other night can do. Yeah, another night, maybe one more night with you. I kind of liked that for a while, and I was running. I'm like, oh, one more night with you, won't that be fun? And I started looking at the lyrics. I'm kind of going, coffee and a cigarette, form and triplicate. What the hell does that have to do with any of it? I couldn't make a coherent arc between those two things. So I started thinking, well, I like that another bit. So maybe this is about another good things that happen every day, but none of those things top another night. Yeah, okay, that's a reasonable sentiment. It could be the exact opposite. It might be another bad thing, a whole bunch of other bad things, but another night with you would make everything better. So that's as far as I got. It's not a bad song. The idea of another leading every verse and getting to another night with you, it just feels forgettable, right? I'm sure somebody's written that kind of song. If I haven't already written one myself, the idea of being with a loved one again, just something we all relate to. We'd all like to be with them one more time, I guess. But it wasn't going to be this song. And now I kind of kicked it back to square one. I had nothing, blank page. And I kept thinking, what does this song feel like? And the more I kept playing that, I kept walking around, humming it, playing it. And all I kept coming back to was another coffee and a cigarette. I'm like, I don't even smoke. What the hell? But I had a line about a diner because coffee and cigarettes at diners sounds cool. Now, maybe when I was younger, I did that, but not for insurance purposes. So I started thinking, what could that song mean? And I could not come up with a single idea. But I have a Substack. I just started it recently. If you don't know about it, go check it out. And I started posting song increments about my writing progress on this song there. Because it was quicker. I could write a little bit about, hey, I'm still looking for lyrics. I didn't have to live stream to you to tell you that. Well, that's not a very interesting live stream, is it? So I started mentioning in one of the posts recently that what happened. And that's what brings us here. Well, I always write music before I write lyrics. It's just kind of the way that lyrics happen for me. If I try to write lyrics on my own with no music in mind, I swear they always sound like a limerick. Right? So I'm not going to do that. Maybe one day I'll have a book of limericks, but I still will occasionally write lyrics when I have no music. And when this happens, it's, I don't know, something strikes me. A lot of times I'm writing lyrics, I'm on an airplane. But there's a moment where I go, I should write this down. This phrase, this idea is coming, I should write this down. And I'll write it down and maybe flesh out some lyrical ideas. I don't really expect to go now sit down and write music to it. Sometimes I do, I guess, but it doesn't usually happen. So they just sit there. Ideas for songs, scraps of lyrics, and so forth. Every so often, when I'm getting ready to write a song, I go and I look through them and I kind of go, I like that idea. Maybe I should try that. That kind of thing. And in this particular case, I went and did exactly that. I had nothing, so I'm going to go check through my fragments. And I found this idea for a punk song that I had. I just was feeling goofy one night and had these lyrics about panic attack in the bathroom. I imagined this like sort of a Ramones-driven song of panic attack in the bathroom. I thought it'd be all kinds of fun. But the idea struck me, how funny. Funny, yeah, but also fun of a song might it be if we took this dancey beat that we had and started talking about panic attacks. It might be kind of fun. So does that work? We go, panic attack in the bathroom. Ooh. And now I'm like, hey, I kind of like that idea. So I started chasing it down. Now, most of the other lyrics that I'd written in that fragment didn't make their way. Just that line, panic attack in the bathroom, which I imagined would be the title of my punk song. I might have had some ideas in the song about things like, I'd have to go check. I don't exactly know, but things associated with panic attacks. But none of them came over in a whole. Ideas and threads of it did. The idea of your hands trembling or the room spinning, that made it in. I think that the original draft had something about counting tiles, and I really loved that, so I brought it over. That's the idea that we're in the bathroom, we're having a panic attack, and you start counting the tiles. I don't know if you've ever had a panic attack or anxiety attack or whatever it is, that moment where you're like, oh, and I don't know that you ever tried counting bathroom tiles, but the two, they kind of go hand in hand a little bit. And if you've been there, then it's one of those, if you know, you knows. So where are we with our song? Well, I think we're about there. So let's give it a run through, shall we? All right, here we go. I'll try not to mess it up. I don't know. How am I going to end it? I might end it with try the 10 easy steps again and just end it there. I think that's what I'm leaning towards, because on the intro I was doing this whole thing, which just sounds cool, right? A little jazzy. And listen, if you don't like that tone, because doesn't sound full enough. Maybe it sounds a little weak for a rock song, you know. Here's the fun thing. A lot of times there's songs that are, you know, like punk and sometimes metal, really, where like if you step back and you play the notes in a certain way, they can sound a little like Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah. I mean, nursery rhyme-ish. They can, you know, it depends on the style that you play them, right? And beyond that, it depends on the instrument and the tone. So what I'm hearing when I'm doing this is that it doesn't sound terribly good on an acoustic. And for our writing sessions, that's fine. You know, we're writing on an acoustic, and hey, it's not bad, right? If I was to go record this right now on the acoustic, a couple things might happen. With a little bit of reverb, you might love it. But inevitably, as I go to do production, I'd end up adding other instrumentation. So I'm sure that I'd be adding an electric ukulele somewhere. So in this case, when we go to do our live, sorry, it won't be live, but I'm going to go to record the foundation track stuff, and I'm recording while I do that. You'll see that released sometime soon under the Wind Solo Sessions playlist. That'll be a case where I'll probably be just doing it on the electric uke with all those extra bits of overdrive and little fuzz that make it sound cool. So that note will start to sound a little bit more rock. Now, the whole thing is kind of disco, right? All right. Hey, I like dancing. What's the harm? Right? I think that's the whole Joy Division thing, really. It's okay to have dark lyrics and a little bit of a dancey beat. I think that's what we're going for here. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this series. And if you're tuning into this, look at the prior ones and see how we got here. It was a kind of a windy path, but we've arrived at our new song, 10 Easy Steps. Look for that foundation track, and we'll start up a new live stream for a new song sometime soon, right as I immediately realize that whole, oh my God, I finished that song and now I have nothing. Ah, that feeling. All right. Have a good one.